Right, so we've all done it. Bought a car with a knackered engine, in this case a seized one, and thought, it's fine, we'll just stick another engine in it. Well, stay tuned to find out the true cost of rebuilding a 40-year-old engine in 2024. That's all the head bolts off. Few curious things just to point out before we go much further. So this core plug here, I have no idea what's going on. However, there's something squashy in there, so that's interesting. We'll have a wee look at that later. And coming around this side, on that join between the head and the block, looks like chemical metal. So that's interesting as well. We'll see what that all means in a minute when we get the head off. What's our bets? Full of rust or okay? And there we have it. So let's get the torch and have a wee look. Ah, so not too bad. So have I been full of water? Which is good. So it looks like they won't be seized. I haven't even tried turning it yet because I wanted to take that off, and just if they were full of rust I wasn't going to attempt to turn them. And this is the head. I don't want to tip it up because we will lose all our cam buckets where they are. That head gasket, we'll have a proper look at this on the bench later, but yeah, I mean, it all looks reasonable. We need to figure out what was going on this side with the chemical metal. Maybe it was just leaking. Who knows? Yeah, you can kind of see it all stuck in there. There's possibly a leak or something, but we'll get all that looked at in more detail once we get that on the bench and stripped down. I think that's a good wee bit of progress. So just using a very basic 3-leg pulley here to get the crank pulley off. There we go. Okay guys, we're going to try and get this crank sprocket off now. I've just made up a very basic puller. And it's off. I thought I was going to get that in the face here. Right, next part of the puzzle, oil pump. And there we have it, one oil pump. Right, let's get going. So we got the block back from the machine shop, and it was actually pretty good news on this block. This was the one we didn't really know what was going on with it. So it hasn't actually needed too much work. So first thing you'll notice there, it's got new core plugs all around. One of them was a wee bit dodgy, so we had them removed and new ones put in everywhere. Bottom end, so bottom end was good. Bottom end is sitting over here in the other area of my workspace on the floor. So bottom end was good. The crank itself, that was just polished. Didn't actually get that cut down. That's it there after polish. So it looks pretty decent. So that's reusable. Nice big steel crank on these. What else did we do? The bores were honed. You might not be able to see. No, you probably won't see from that angle. They were honed anyway. So that was done. And the top of the block was machined flat or decked, whatever you want to call it. So that was done. So what we're going to do tonight is we are going to get the crank in. We'll obviously get the shells in. Everything is scattered around at the moment. Yeah, we have the caps there, thrust washers there, and we have some shells there. So everything is, so all the space is cleverly being utilised. We have a dirty work area here as well. Probably don't try this at home. That's all I'll say. Right, let's get started. Right, I have my young apprentice helping me tonight, and we're going to get these shells in to start with, and then just build everything up from there. looking good now. We've obviously got movement because we've got no thrust washers there in the middle. That's fine. We'll get them in shortly. Right then, we are slowly getting there. So the next job is going to be get the new shells in the bearing caps. So these have all been cleaned up as best I can. So we'll start at this end. I mean, these are actually all numbered, 5 and then 4 obviously. These have all got wee arrows on them as well. You might be able to see that on that camera. So yeah, all point towards the front of the engine. So there we have it, guys. Turns nice and smooth. Torque all them up tomorrow, but that's us done for the night. Hope you enjoyed that one.
Please like and subscribe.
We decided to replace the piston rings and obviously the shells on the bottom of the engine. So what we're in the process of doing now is clocking the rings the correct way around. I've made a little diagram of where I think they should go, top and bottom of oil control ring, and the top and first and second compression ring and the expander. So I'm in the process of doing that and then we'll get them fitted. Right then, the next part of the engine rebuild in the kitchen series. I hope you're enjoying this one. Highly recommended to make sure there is no one around in the house when you bring an engine stand in, so you're probably only going to have a small window of an hour to get this job done. So we're all ready to get these pistons in. I've fitted the shells to the big ends and to the caps. All been cleaned, lubricated again with that. So it's basically just a case of dropping them all in one by one. Piston rings have also been correctly clocked, so good to go with those. Right. Right, so next job, we're going to torque up these main bearing caps. Right, now onto the big end caps. Right, there we have it, mostly bottom end. So the next part that will be going on is oil strainer, which sits on there. We need to find an oil seal for that, bolts in place for that. We're just cleaning out the sump, so then that will go on later. Right, okay guys, we're going to get the sump pan on the Montego engine tonight. So we've cleaned up all the surface there, fitted the oil strainer along with the new O-ring. That took quite a while actually washing the mesh out, but it's spotlessly clean now. We've got our gasket here, and we're also going to put a little bit of that blue Hyalmar, a very thin coating of that on both sides of the gasket. The sump, that's the sump, cleaned that up best I can. Same with underneath, it is a bit rusty, but we'll paint that when the rest of the engine is reassembled. There was a wee dent on the bottom there that I managed to knock out as much as I could. So that's the best we're going to get that, and obviously washed it out several times to get all the years of gunge and sludge out the bottom of it. Right, let's get this gasket on then. Right, and there we have it, that's the sump on now, so we'll let that dry, then we'll get the engine turned over and start rebuilding the sides.
Please like and subscribe.
You want to put your finger there? Right, next part of the Montego engine rebuild, we've got this nice shiny oil pump to go on. Well, it doesn't actually look that shiny, but it is brand new. So I'm going to stick that on tonight, new gasket, bolts are cleaned up, and then it'll be onto the water pump. Cylinder head, cam buckets and shims. So what you need to do here is you need to measure the shims, reassemble everything. This is not an accident I had. This is a little tool I made to help check the valve clearance. So stick your cam back in, tighten those three onto the top there, measure your valve clearance, and then work out, you know, if it's within spec. If it's not within spec, you know what size of shim then you need to replace it with. Right, so there's all the measurements taken. So the idea with this is, note down your clearance, note down the size of your shim, work out the difference to bring it within tolerance, and then you've got the difference. So then what you need to do is add or deduct that number from your shim size, and then go and buy some new shims. Right, second round on this. Reshimmed it all again, and we've got it down to 3 that are just outside spec now. These ones you can probably just make out. So 3 is better than 8, so we'll have another crack at that, see if we can refine that a little bit further and get those ones within spec. Right, we're getting a wee bit of time back on Montego. So today's job is going to be try and clean up this engine block. So we're just going to use basic wire brush attachment on an electric drill, get that surface corrosion off, and have some red paint, and we'll give that a going over and hopefully bring it up like new. There we have the finished article. What do you guys think of that then? Next job is to fit that flywheel. I previously cleaned all that up and all the bolts. Torquing them up there. And then there's also little lock tabs to knock flat on those bolts as well. Then brand new clutch kit. Again, dead easy fitting these. And then that was the clutch release bearing fork there. Cleaned all that, re-greased that and fitted a new one. And then just on to fitting the sealant onto the cam cover there. In retrospect, I think I probably put a little bit too much of a bead on that. But I guess it's on now, so we'll see how it does. And then we've got fitting the cylinder head gasket and cylinder head. Tightening up those bolts and then doing the final torque in there. Right, the thing everybody's been wondering is, how much has this rebuild actually cost me? Right, we'll go through all the costs here. So, machine shop for the head, £120. Machine shop for the bottom end, £220. Set rings, £84. You can see this bill is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Shells, 114. Oil pump, 37. Don't know if anybody can make it my writing, but I know what the total is, so that's fine. Water pump, £11. Headset, £20. Clutch, it's maybe a wee bit unfair to include the clutch kit, but I guess it's part of the rebuild. Shim, we included that, a whopping £3.60. Sealant, say £16. We've got stem seals and bottom end set, or conversion gasket set as they call it. Conversion set is £39, and some gasket, as the wrong one was in the conversion set, so to buy another one, and that was 13. And that comes to a grand total of £750. So was that what you were expecting? So that was for an O series engine, didn't really have that detailed an engine build. So there we go, 750 quid, and we still haven't found out if it'll start. Right, let's finish this video off with where we're actually up to. So as you can see, the engine is now fitted to the car. So that was a good step forward there. Obviously got all our engine mounts on, but we've got loads and loads of other things to fit to the engine. Inlet and exhaust manifolds, starter motor, we've got alternator, we've got to time the engine up, rebuild the carburetor, and then any associated wiring. So quite a bit to do, but stay tuned for the next video where we'll see if we can get it started.